I mean, it's delightful to be back here, and I certainly welcome local member here, Mernda and Doreen, good friend and a passionate advocate for a local community, and I think really instrumental in terms of driving this outcome. As to Tom and local residents, clearly from the work that was done more than 12 months ago now, I think what you wanted to do is bring me up here when we're in opposition and sit down and have a conversation. You were having a bit of trouble securing that with the government at the time, but to have a conversation about the growth of the area and some of the concerns of residents, and really talk about what our government might do if we were elected, which we actually were in November. And you did put a straight answer to us, and it's really delightful to be back here as part of this commitment to unveil the site. And I also acknowledge Acting Inspector Lindsay Cook. It's always terrific to have representatives from Victoria Police here. I would say, by way of introduction, Victoria Police have worked very well, both from an opposition point of view, now in government, to assist in terms of we being able to understand the need that exists and the growth that exists around that, that builds that need. And Victoria Police have done a lot of work with local government here, local member and the community in terms of trying to secure a site as quickly as we possibly can and get this moving. To other representatives that are here from the community, it's terrific that you can join us here, and of course the media who have been helpful in terms of building the community understanding of what was needed and what's actually being done. I'm not going to speak for too long, but I think what I do want to say is that in terms of this, we committed to do it, and we are getting on with it in our first year of government. So that was really important. You can't get on with these things unless you make an allocation through your budget. And in our first budget, we did allocate the money. This was very clearly a commitment, and we wanted to fulfil this commitment. That means we've been able to secure the land, and by all reports, just speaking to Tom and Danielle, this is a good spot for a new station because it will service both Mernda and Doreen as the community in this growing northern corridor as well. So that's a really big tick, I think, in terms of the site and the location. It's also close to major arterial roads, and in time where the public transport hub will be up here as part of the rail link. And so that's really important. We've been able to do that quickly. We've secured a site, and now what we're able to do is get on with construction, and we would expect construction to commence next year and conclude in 2017. And we expect that by mid-2017 we'll actually have a functioning police station on this site. And Victoria Police, through their own operational considerations here, have determined that given the growth in the area, that this police station will operate as a 24-hour police station. That is a decision of Victoria Police. And as part of that, I can inform you that in terms of Victoria Police planning, they will have a family violence unit here at the site, criminal investigation unit, a divisional response unit, and obviously the space for the administrative support that is required as part of any police station, and obviously uniformed police. That is a really significant outcome for the local area. So I'm looking forward, obviously, to coming back and having a look at construction as we get underway next year. I'll certainly look forward to returning in mid-2017. That's the projected date for the opening of the station. And obviously I'll look forward to that celebration of the community who've worked so hard. Tom, I had a look at your Facebook page this morning. I see that you've got over 5,000 friends or likes, and you blew our secret because you had a photo of the sign already on your Facebook site. But obviously that goes to the great passion and commitment that members of the community have exercised in terms of making the case for this. So with those words, I might stop there before we go out and do a few photos and the like in relation to this, but just thank those community advocates, local member, police, media and the local community at large for what has become a terrific partnership, and clearly we're keen to get on with it as you know by our presence here today. Danielle, you're beaming. Over to you.
Thanks, Wade. Look, Minister, it's just brilliant to have you here, and you know, you were here in opposition, you saw the need, you spoke to Tom Joseph and other people in the community, you listened to my concerns in Parliament. You know, Tom and you know, the doctors down at Lorimer and so many of Tom's friends and supporters that had petitions in all the local shops, and you know, it was a really huge campaign. And you know, as you and I know, the Parliament is quite formal in the way it accepts petitions. You know, we've all got a bit digital these days, but the Parliament still expects actually handwritten signatures. So it was actually a real face-to-face grassroots campaign, along with the social media as well. But it was an enormous amount of work, and I really want to pay credit to Tom and the Mernda Needs a Police Station Facebook group for the work they did in partnership with the Mernda and District Residents Association, and Sandy's here representing them today. And it's great to see John Cretling here from Whittlesea Neighbourhood Watch, which covers the whole local government area. But also, you know, Wade's predecessor in the police portfolio was Jacinta Allen, and she actually came out and met with Tom and local representatives as well. And I was pretty peeved, along with the local community, and that the previous minister just refused to set foot in Mernda and see the need. And unless you actually come here and see how large this community is, I think it's hard for anyone who doesn't know this area to understand how what was already a large postcode in 2010 could actually double from 2011 to 2014, which is why it made the case so imperative, and which is why the Police Association actually came to Mernda. I mean, you know, mass media had to learn where Mernda was because the Police Association said, this is where we're launching our campaign, we need police resourcing here. So I really want to pay credit to the Police Association as well, because they recognised on behalf of their members what the need was, and they said Mernda was their top priority. So I think we've had local support, and we've had you know, support from far and wide, and you know, I think the media generally has been fantastic in backing us up, and that was, you know, the daily media, our local papers, and we've got Donna Brown here today. Where are you, Donna? There she is, filming from the Mad Gazette, Mernda and Doreen Gazette. We're not all mad, we just live in Mernda and Doreen, but it's a great number. But you know, like, there's all sorts of communication now, and then we couldn't keep the local pages silent, Minister, because the sign went up yesterday. You know, just the dialogue and the conversation about it, it's just been fantastic. I also really wanted to thank our hosts today, RCL, David Whiteman and Angus, who've been great supporters of the campaign. They're having us in the hut today and providing this great model so we can all orient ourselves to see the great things are happening. But you know, David we're really fortunate with the developers that we have in this area, in that so many of them, like David, live in the northern suburbs, so they're not like White Shoe Brigade that drop in, build a few houses and nick off again. They actually have a passion for this area, and you know, it's been a really well-planned development, and you know, having this land, you know, that could be available for the police station, and they also sold us the site for the school. So they really, and they pushed it. So because we purchased that land for the school in 2009, and they put a big billboard on it and said, well, call the education department if you think a school should be built here. And that was really helpful as well. And I think, you know, it was nothing to them. They'd already sold the land and got the money, but they genuinely care about this community having, even though they're, you know, fully sold now, aren't you, David? I think this might have been the last bit of land. But, you know, they don't just blow in and blow out. They really are concerned for the local community. And it's great to actually now be able to speak about the site and about the land. And there's been so much, as Tom will attest, on the local pages, people wanting to know since the announcement in May, where is it? And it was really hard for people to understand that you kind of didn't want to give too many signals to people that want to be selling, because we've found in other areas that, you know, the price goes up, and then that means we've got less money for the actual construction. So I hope people in the community understand why they've needed to be patient. But, you know, really, we announced, we committed to build it in October. The first opportunity that we could to fund it was in May, and now we have only 5 months later announcement of a site, and I think the community, you know, what we've seen already in, well, it's about 16, 17 hours since the sign went up, there's a great deal of excitement and a real reinforcement for how good this site is, how accessible it is. And thank you, Inspector Lindsay, being here. I'm glad to see you, but I'm disappointed that Inspector Paul Tyso is not here, because he's doing a great job in the way that he interacts with the community. He's on Facebook himself, and we found a number of antisocial things have been going on, like hoon motorcycles and things like that. Because Paul is active and talks to the community, miraculously those things stop. So, you know, I think it just shows how proactive policing and actually having a dialogue with the community can mean that you don't have to be heavy-handed and that the behaviour will just stop. So I am disappointed that he's not here, but I'm also grateful to Paul and his team who, I mean, you know, they stay out of the political process, but they really assisted in being quite public last year in saying, particularly in relation to family violence, that the calls that they were responding to in Mernda and Doreen tended to be of a more serious nature, and that they felt that that was indicative that that victims, primarily women and children, were not reporting lesser assaults and things like that because they knew that police were further away. So I think it won't be just you know, burglaries and crimes in the community, but it'll be that number one you know, problem that we have with violence, which is violence in the home. That this will really help having a visible police presence and make it, for families doing it tough, a symbol that there are people there to help. So thank you, Minister. Delighted to have you here. Thanks again to Tom and everyone that helped out with the campaign, and we look forward to you coming back at various stages along the construction and ultimately the opening.
Terrific. Well said, Danielle. Good job. There are many representatives from the community here today. Tom, do you want to say a few words sort of more broadly on behalf of the community representatives?
I think it's very fitting that you do, Tom.
This is a very exciting day for us. I mean, when we started the campaign 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, for asking for a police station, whether it's a police station campaign, I've done some research and found police stations are rare. I mean, new police stations just doesn't happen. In the last 10 years, it's only 1 or 2 which has happened. So now since the police station is in the bag, I can sell some truth. I was hoping, with this campaign, I was hoping 2014 election we probably won't get one. But Danielle was so engaging. I mean, unlike the then government who was not willing to listen, Danielle was so engaging. And, I mean, from the day one, she was, you know, in touch with us and discussing it. Actually, Wade was here twice. Once we met at the Middlesea, and then Wade was the minister was then the opposition police spokesman, and he came here twice actually to listen to us. And the second time he came to make an announcement, should they be elected, they will fund $15 million. So very excited. Thank you very much for. I mean, it's another feather in Danielle's cap. She's the, as I love telling her, she's the golden girl in the Victorian Parliament. She's got $1 billion commitment in the last election, and so I think the first 15 million is out now.